Medical with Tuesday Morning Transformation. Are you jumping for joy right now because we're evolving into more consciousness of our spiritual being? Come on, that was different. We got to do something different all the time. So yeah, it's a hologram, right? Because it's all perspective. We're spiritual beings walking through the physical world. Are we walking through with our humanity, or are we walking through with the spiritual consciousness? So today, I want to talk about acceptance is the path to peace. What's that mean? Acceptance is actually recognizing and accepting what actually is. What's that mean? The pain that we experience or the stress comes from our judgment, how we perceive it. When we perceive things painfully, then the problem is with our judgment creates incessant internal language. And then it's the internal language that emotionally drains us and robs us of our energy. Why? Because what we resist persists. Now, how many times have we heard this? A million times. It's what we resist, what we put judgment on, what we say, I don't like this. So acceptance is not agreeing. It's not submitting. There is an amount of surrendering, which means this does exist. And then what we're going to do is change our perception to a different spiritual consciousness. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night and you got something that's bugging you and you don't like it, and you're up in the middle of the night, go, I don't like this, and what am I going to do? And I'm going to do this, and then you're taking action and you're doing this, but then all of a sudden it's like an hour and a half goes by. But that incessant internal language, right, robs you of your peace and your sleep. How many... When you look at what's going through your mind all day, how's that robbing you of your energy? So let's get some basic subconscious beliefs down. Number one, we are a spiritual being. Number two, the universe has intention. What's that mean? Every condition in our life has a reason. There's a reason we're there. We're going to go through how to evaluate that. Number three is everything is working in our favor. So that means the universe is guiding us on our soul path. That's really number three. And number four is everything is working in our favor. So imagine a metaphor of like putting a puzzle together. You turn over the puzzle, there's 8 million pieces, and you want to put it together, and you know what the picture looks like. That's your life. This is the life I want to create, right? Here's the picture. And then you pull this piece, you go, what the heck is this piece? I have no idea how this fits. Where does this go? And you're looking at the picture, you're trying to do that. But the reality is you're not supposed to place that piece in the puzzle yet. So then you start, acceptance is saying, okay, I don't understand this piece. That's a condition in your life. And you can just see that it exists, set it aside, start putting together other pieces. It doesn't mean you don't have a solution. It means sometimes our best lesson is just patience. Okay, ask me. Number one lesson for Fred DiDomenico in life is patience. Because what do we want to do? We want to solve a problem, and I want to do this. But sometimes when we try and solve it, when we force a solution before our time, we create a whole nother bigger problem. You know what I mean? So sometimes it's just let things happen in divine time, which was another lesson a couple of weeks ago. So we can put that piece aside. It doesn't mean that we're ignoring it. We're just surrendering to divine time. As we put the other pieces together, all of a sudden, oh my God, here's where it fits. And then we realize it always had its perfect place, but we don't understand it. That's why we go to Philippians on a daily basis if you need to. Let your requests be known to God. And the peace of God, what? Acceptance is path to what? Peace. The peace of God surpasses all understanding, will guard your heart and guard your mind. What's that mean? Guard your heart, meaning it doesn't take you into anger. It keeps you in peace. It keeps you in love, right? Because every decision that we make and how we solve a problem is conditioning us not only now, but in the future. So if you think, how I solve a problem right now is going to be the way I may solve a similar problem for the rest of my life, because that's how your brain works. It wires. So do you want to, in the moment, you say, do I want to solve a problem like this? See, there's tons of distractions that can make us feel better. It's already known that scrolling through texts and Facebook releases dopamine in your brain, which makes you feel better. So when I want to feel better, do I use an outside-in approach? Do I turn to my phone? Do I turn to alcohol? Do I turn to marijuana that's illegal now? And I'm not saying any of them are good or bad. I'm just saying let's look at why we do things. And if our goal is really to have peace, to have love, to be conscious of our spirit, to create heaven on earth and create really the life that we want, then let's look why we do something, then how we do something, and then maybe we can make another choice. Does that make sense? It already shows that meditation calms your mind and actually changes your brain and conditions you for peace and for compassion. So what vehicle are we using? The first thing is, let's look at the definition we're giving. See, not every piece that looks like an odd piece, every condition in your life, is supposed to be solved right now. But when we accept it, right, and we look at, and then we ask 3 questions, we can say, okay, if I have this condition or I don't understand this in my life, and I have all this internal language, first thing is, hey, let's stop, let's feed it love, right? Because you don't have to experience the pain of the past over and over. You can let it go, and then we want to solve it with love. Okay, this is a song right out of Frozen for all you Walt Disney freaks, right? That love is an open door. So I can look at it with love and say, this has a reason. So what energy or attitude or perspective did I have the last week, right? The last month, the last hour, 2 minutes ago that may have created this condition? So if we take responsibility, then we have the ability to respond. So that's number 1. Number 2, what am I learning? If this is in my life, then that's a piece of the puzzle I may not understand. So there's something for me to gain, for me or this person or this condition. There's something for me to gain, to look at it from another perspective. Third, what am I gonna do, and how am I gonna solve this? Not that I need to solve it right now. How am I gonna move through it? So the way I move through it can condition the way I handle challenges from now and forward, and how can it be a lesson to others? Because you are always teaching with your actions. Whatever you do, lots of people are watching, and you're watching yourself. You know what I mean? So how we move through challenges not only teaches us, but what you find, it's a condition in your soul purpose that can help you teach other people. You're gaining experience, you're gaining courage, you're gaining spiritual consciousness that you don't know 1 year from today, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. There's a person that desperately needs your help, and how you made it through that challenge with a spiritual consciousness can help 1 or 1 million or 10 million or 100 million. You don't know how that puzzle will fit 3 years from now. So acceptance is saying it does exist. I don't have to agree or disagree. That's judgment. What it is, I can go to myself, see that everything works in my favor. I can ask myself those questions. What was my state? What am I learning? How can I turn a test into a testimony? And how can I condition myself to be at a higher consciousness, to live at peace and love, to twist that hologram to every situation as a loving situation, regardless of how it looks. We can calm that internal language, which builds up more and more and more. The more you have that internal language, the more you judge, the more it builds up, right? We can actually let that go. It can be over a lifetime of letting go, or it can be in one moment, right? So we don't have to experience the pain of the past. We can let it go. We can make new decisions. We can choose love and peace. We can take responsibility, and then we can see what solution do I have? What am I being divinely guided? How is God divinely empowering me to handle this? Or just do I need to do nothing and just love it and it will dissipate? So those are the things I'm going through in my life, right? We're always seeking a higher consciousness. It's not that we're going through anything, it's a process. Life is a process, it's not a result. So let's be in love and peace, and let's love the process. Thanks.